Hello, everyone, and welcome to our DSB virtual group support therapy. I wanted to do this video since it's so close to the holidays to talk about healthy things that we can do and plan to get through the holidays in a healthy form. And I know that in my own personal experience that every holiday is different. My emotions are different every holidays, and being as in the position that I'm in right now with the holidays and my I want to say grief process, because it's really a healing process. The holidays are different for me now. My other children are older. I still have one of my younger sons at home, but he, again, it's his last year, so the holidays are a little bit different because the kids are grown and kind of have their own thing that they do, besides, just being with us doing family things. So I wanted to kind of just try to talk to you about how we approached the holidays and what we did for our family, especially since the kids were all still in school at the time and our oldest was in college. So the best thing that we can do is, first of all, we need to I try to remind myself, as well as everyone in my support groups, that grief is an ongoing process. You're going to have your good times, you're going to have your bad times, you're going to be melancholy times, there are going to be sad times, and there are going to be happy times. There are going to be times that you are able to smile even when you think that you shouldn't be smiling. You're going to have those times where you're actually able to. So I wanted to address the holidays. I find that the best way to really get through the holidays is by focusing on the holidays. And what I mean by focusing on the holidays is to plan out your holiday. Whatever it is that you feel is best for you and your family, you and your immediate family, that's what you should do. For us, we decided not to celebrate the first holiday after losing my son. We decided to not do anything. We actually went out of town and stayed at a hotel and just hung out there, and just to kind of get away from the whole, Christmas thing and the whole Thanksgiving thing. We just decided as a family. We actually sat down and had a meeting and decided, not to do anything for the holidays that we traditionally would do. And, everybody's different in their grief. And so I guess my main point is I want you to take the time to focus on knowing that the holidays are coming. And I think that when we focus on the fact that it's coming instead of waiting to try to wing it, that we can kind of help with setting up barriers. And I talk about barriers because those are the things that tell us, emotionally, I'm either getting close to that line that's going to put me in a dark place, or I've surpassed that line that's gotten me in a dark place. So in planning, it allows you to know what your boundaries are, to start practicing those boundaries so that you can have a healthy healing process. And again, when I say a healing process, I mean in a place to where you're not today, that you have to consciously make a decision to say, I choose to do this, I choose to do that, I choose to do better. And so we think that, oh, that's not going to make a difference. But, had I known that if I had just chosen sometimes to, get up and do things differently, but I went through a long stage of where I just didn't choose. I just didn't choose. And sometimes it's okay not to choose, but when you get into a habit of not choosing, then I think for me it put me in a place where my depression just set in even more. Even though I was actively in therapy, the holidays just were not for me. And with me having four other children, I had to consider their feelings. I had to consider how things would affect them for the holidays, and that it just wasn't about me, but it was still about them, and that we as parents had to still put our children first and do what was best for them, in spite of the position that I was in as a mother, having to bury, her child. So just depending on your family dynamics, you really just have to sit down and think about, what's best for your family. And when I say your family, I don't mean, you know, anybody that's outside of your home. I mean your direct immediate family. The things that if it starts with you, if the holiday events always started with you, and traditionally you ended up over everyone's house, when I say, that you do what's best for you and your immediate family, it's what's affecting, you in your household. So think about, or even talk about, because we talked about it, what we decided to do for the holidays. And Thanksgiving is coming up, and traditionally, we would do the whole thing of, I would always cook dinner at my house and still, go to my mom's and, to my sisters, and kind of made a circle. But after losing my son, I didn't even want to cook. So collectively, we talked about it as a family with our children, and my husband at the time, and just decided what was best, for us. So again, for us, the best thing was for us to go out of town both holidays. We did not put up a Christmas tree. And again, that's just what was best for us. You know, Eventually we created new traditions, and we put up his stocking, and we made new stockings, because traditionally we made stockings for all of us. We got together and got all the things from the arts and crafts store, and we made our Christmas holiday stockings. And so now that Darrell was gone, then the pain that came with decorating and putting up the Christmas stockings was totally different. So we just chose not to. So we chose to do something different, all the way down to what we eat. And so I want to encourage you to do what's best for your household. Start with your household. Start with a conversation. Whoever's the head of the household, you guys sit down with your family members that are in your immediate house and decide what's best for you. And I want to say this, particularly to my moms, because what we have is a protective spirit. And so we're always in protective mode. We're always in, the caring for and the taking care of mode, and we forget to take care of ourselves. And being in this new position, and creating a new normalcy, to be healthy, we have to learn now to take care of ourselves first, in order to be able to function to take care of our household, if that makes sense. So I couldn't take care of my children, or see about my husband, if I wasn't seeing about me first. So there was a huge period in time, even when I was going to therapy, that my therapy was not just about me. And I learned this as I progressed, that it wasn't just about me, it was about my children, and keeping my marriage together. And so I had to take care of me, so that I would be able to take care of my household. And it was a long process. It was a very long process. It was a very dark process. But I would have to say that I'm glad that I took the necessary steps to go to therapy every day, Monday through Friday, from 9 in the morning until 2:30 in the afternoon. And even with some inpatient, just to be able to get away from the daily responsibilities and trying to heal, I had to at some point separate myself from my family to see about me. And so, we can't be afraid to, number one, realize that we have to take care of ourselves. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can't take care of anyone. And that's, to my moms, that we're caretakers by nature. That's just what we do. And so because that's what we do, we have to now rearrange the order in which we did things. We've always put our children first. We've always taken care of our children first. We've always taken care of our spouse first. But now that our life has changed significantly, we have to first make sure that we're okay before we can make sure that they're okay. Because if you put too much on yourself, again, I always mention that you're going to break, and it's going to come out in a positive or a negative. So with our holidays, I would just recommend, because for me, again, it was about making sure that the things that I can control as it relates to my pain and me in this new life that I had to live without my son, and have 4 children versus the 5, that I had to plan things out because I was already a planner and I'm an organizer. So, just to have one of my children missing was a lot. So now I had to plan to be healthy. I had to plan to be emotionally strong. I had to plan on how I was actually going to get through the day and, again, taking care of me and still having my family to take care of. So just to not be caught off by surprise, again, we sat down, we had a family meeting, decided what we were going to do for our holiday for us, regardless of what cousins, grandmothers, uncles, aunt, regardless of what they thought was best, because you can't know what's best for me if you're not living my life, if you're not in my situation. So although they mean well, and even from a spiritual aspect, they mean well, nobody knows what it's like to walk in your shoes, your children. And so no one can really give you solid advice on what's best for you emotionally, because emotionally, you know how you feel. And if you are in a position to where emotionally you really just don't know how you feel, and it's something that's continuous, like I said, this is a point of view from someone that has suffered a loss of a child, but I highly, highly recommend that you always get professional therapy, because you need that textbook aspect of things so that you can have a mixture of both in learning how to function. Because again, you may not have a therapist that knows what it's like to lose a child. Your therapist is going to be the one that you talk to every day. Your psychiatrist is going to be the one that, yes, they want to know what mood you're in, where you are. They're going to do your medications. Your therapist is really going to be your new friend that you say things to that, family members may not accept, may not like, or may not think is best for you. But nobody can tell you what's best for you that's not walking in your shoes. So just remember for the holidays to approach them in a way that's going to be successful for your healing, for your family, and for you, no matter what the outsiders say. And if you feel like you're in a position where too many people are giving you too much advice, go back to your therapist. Your therapist is going to be your neutral person. Your neutral person that doesn't know who you were before your loss, and it's just really just trying to help you find yourself, now that you're at a point where you've suffered a loss. So if you ever feel that way, and I would even recommend, for me, I started making my appointments before these triggers, which is what the holidays are. Any type of celebration, can be a trigger. So when these triggers such as holidays began to approach, I knew that I needed to make an appointment to see my therapist before and after the holiday, so that I could, number one, deal with or discuss what I was feeling, what was going on in my household or in my family outside of my immediate family, with what they were trying to advise me to do, or just pretending that it never even happened for the holidays. And a lot of times people think that if they, don't bring it up, which is probably sometimes the smartest thing, or it just depends. You can say, is there anything I can do for you? And not just totally ignore the fact that, hey, this is the holidays. It's different for my sister. It's different for my brother and their family. Whoever it is that's lost a loved one, it's okay to say, is there anything I can do for you guys? I know this year is different. Is there anything I can do? And so that's okay to say that, but ultimately at the end of the day, it is your decision on what you want to do. Now, let me say this, because I don't want you to think, oh, well, it's been a year, it's been 6 months, it's been 3 months, and now here comes a holiday. I have to make a plan. I have to hop up and get up, because sometimes making a plan to do nothing is the plan. And so as long as you know what your plan is, whether it is to, do some laundry, clean the house, go to bed about 8:30, watch a movie, or just go to bed and just, if you're seeing a therapist or psychiatrist and they've prescribed you something to help you rest, take your medication, get you some rest. If you can, push yourself to, take a walk around the corner, I would suggest, to just take a nice, little walk and come back home and, get yourself comfortable with, getting a shower. The shower always makes me feel, great after I've done a workout, and just, relax. So sometimes it's okay to plan to relax, as long as you know that mentally this is what you've planned to do, it's perfectly okay. and not let someone bully you into what they feel is best for you from a family or a respective, adult in your family, grandmothers, your mother, not to pressure you into doing what they think is best for you, because only you know what your breaking point is. So my suggestion would be, again, to plan what you're going to do for the holidays, even if your plan is to do nothing, that it's okay, because that plan to do nothing is still going to be something that's going to help you with your grief process. Because remember, grief, again, is a process. So I hope that this helped you guys, and don't forget to like and to share the video, and to subscribe to our channel for the DSB Variety Community. Like us on Facebook, on Instagram, and just share this. And my prayer is that God would give you exactly what you need to make it through this process, because you don't have to do it alone. It's not something that you should put huge expectations on yourself. Just take it one step at a time, 1 minute at a time. Whatever it is that you feel that you need to do to make it through the holidays, that's what you do. So again, my prayers are with you. I encourage you in this. And before I go, I just want to read this to you and just remind you that grief never ends, but changes. It's a passage, not a place to stay. Grief is not a sign of weakness nor a lack of faith. It is the price that we pay for love. And just reminding you of that, and just letting you know that, it's, you love someone, and it's not unusual, and you shouldn't feel that you're supposed to be in a certain place. You just take it one step at a time. So thank you for joining the DSB. I hope, again, that this information was helpful to you, and my prayers are with you and your family during the holiday seasons always. And to remember to take care of your mental health. That's very important. Take care of your mental health. Love you so that you can love those around you. Thank you.